We have had some instances here in Brooklyn, in the city, where anti-Semitic acts have taken place, vandalism has taken place, but as far as I can remember, people or somebody going out there and burning mezuzahs is the first time it has happened, certainly the first time it has happened recently. And as a matter of fact, this took place in two separate buildings. So in one building I think he burned 11 to 14 mezuzahs, and in another building a couple of other mezuzahs. And in one of those mezuzahs, in one of those buildings, I'm sorry, he is seen on the camera in the elevator leaving or arriving at the building, and I think that's why how the police department was able to apprehend them quite fast.
האם יש אנטישמיות בניו יורק?
You know, sometimes there are anti-Semitic acts, sometimes there are people who are simply lawless, who do crazy stuff, not necessarily out of anti-Semitism, but simply, you know, they are violent or criminal. For example, the person who was arrested for allegedly torturing those mezuzahs, according to some reports, was arrested already 52 times in the last couple of years. So when you have a guy who basically his grandmother says lives on the street, on drugs, a criminal, has done many violent acts in the past, maybe this was just you know, a new thing, not necessarily driven by anti-Semitism. But you know, I can understand if people view burning mezuzahs as an anti-Semitic act. It definitely wasn't an act of love. But his motives, maybe it's anti-Semitism, or maybe it's just a low life of a wise guy that doesn't have what to do with his day, and every other day or every other week he does something else criminal.
האם הרשויות מטפלות כמו שצריך כדי למגר את התופעה הזאת?
Yeah, very good. We have a very strong response from the police department, that's the law enforcement, and of course also from the political people, the elected officials. As for the police department, they within minutes of that this report came in, I think dozens of police officers descended onto the area to try to figure out who may be behind this sickening act. And the police department already apprehended this guy, I think 36 or tops 48 hours later. So obviously the government, as for law enforcement, is fully behind, is fully on this case to make sure that the person who, what appears, committed this act will face the justice system as he should. As for government, elected officials, we have had elected officials of many areas come out to hold press conferences and release statements condemning this act and assuring the Jewish community that the government will do whatever they can to make sure that those acts do not happen again. As a matter of fact, the Speaker of the City Council, so obviously you know, the New York City has a mayor, this is the administration, but it has a council, like the legislator. The Speaker of the council, who represents a different district, was in Williamsburg one of those days, participating at a press conference. The congresswoman of the area, and again, the congresswoman is in the federal government, but the congresswoman came down also to this press conference. We had community leaders, Jewish and non-Jewish alike, all of them joining in press conferences and statements condemning this act and assuring the community that they will make sure that those acts don't happen again.